Hello, so welcome to the Bootstrap tutorial. We're going to be taking you through Bootstrap and what it's all about. So basically, Bootstrap is just the way you have jQuery for JavaScript. Bootstrap literally like has been designed to make you develop responsive websites faster and easier, right? You don't have to write all those what they call as media queries code. You don't have to write all that stuff. Like it's as they've done all of that for you, and it comes up with some nice designs that have already been done that you can just apply the class to the element you want to have that styling, and it's automatically going to do it, right? So for this particular video, right? So this simple website, we're going to convert it to Bootstrap. So I'm just going to duplicate it, and I'm going to rename it Bootstrap websites. Let me just say Bootstrap websites, Bootstrap websites. So, and then let me just come and open it here, open folder, and then we'll say Bootstrap websites. So before we can actually use Bootstrap, we need to go to their websites, right? So we say Bootstrap, and then when we click on this, right, 5.3, we go to Docs. So you can see getting started, it has all of that, but I'm just going to summarize it for you. Before you can use Bootstrap, you need to include the CSS and you need to include the JavaScript, right? So the CSS is for the styling, the JavaScript is for the JavaScript functionalities, right? And how does that work? You either use a CDN to append it, right? If we copy this like this and we paste, for instance, I believe that should work. So you can see that the Bootstrap is there, right? So you can save that, and you can also do the thing for the JS. But let's download it, right? If we want to download it to our local machine, our device, and then just use it from there, we don't want to serve it from any CDN. We either use this method or we can just use this download, right? So it's going to download everything. When we say download, we hit download. It's going to download that. It's taking a bit of time. So once that downloads, right, it's taking a lot of time. So I'm just going to pause the video until like it downloads. Alright, but for some weird reasons, I'm keep on having this issue. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to get it from the CDN, right? So we're going to get it from the CDN, and we're going to just serve it, right? So if you look at this, if you are devising and prefer to include alright, so there's something called popper.min.js, right? So we want to include that, we can include it too, but this is it, right? So if we want to include popper.min.js, we can actually include it using this. So let me first get the CSS, right? So if I copy the CSS, let's copy it, then paste it, then I save it, right? So in the Bootstrap website, let's come to, I want to create a folder. I want to create a folder, name it Bootstrap. I'm just name it Bootstrap, and then this is 5.3.3, right? And then I'm going to create a new folder there and name it CSS, right? And then I'm just going to save it in here. Then we can either use this. If we're using this, I believe I'm mistaken, we don't have to include popper.min.js, but I want to use these two separately instead. So I'll just save this first, right? And then let me go back to Bootstrap and save it. So when I use Control S, and then I'll right click here and I say new, and I say JS, right? And I'll save it here, right? Popper has been saved, and then I'll come back here and I'll copy this, right? Then I'll save this here, and I'm going to save Bootstrap min.js. So we have to include those files, right? So let's quickly include them. Let's go to the index. Let's start with the index page, and then this my style.css is still there standing, but let's see CSS we have here. I don't think I want to work with this for now, so let me just comment this out first, and instead let me link the Bootstrap link ref ref bootstrap css, bootstrap admin.css, right? Bootstrap, and then rel, style sheets, and then we say type equal to text.css, right? That's that. And then let me just if I can just get rid of all of this, right? Just get rid of this. So let's look at this. So I'm going to include the JavaScript file. So I'll say bootstrap js files, and I'll put here bootstrap css files, right? Then let's come down here, and then we see scripts, and then we see source bootstrap, and then we see not css, javascript. And we first have to include popper, actually, right? Popper, right? And then we include bootstrap, yeah. But let's see, trying to get this thing. See, this is jQuery. Let me click on this introduction. Earlier versions of Java's Bootstrap require jQuery, but I don't think they do anymore. But we just include it to be on the safe side. So how do we do that? Let me just search for jQuery. jQuery. Let me see. Is jQuery needed for Bootstrap? And the network is loading that. Yeah. So we'll include the jQuery. Yes, we're going to include jQuery, but let's include jQuery. I don't think the latest versions really require it anymore for certain things, but we'll include regardless, for in case you still want to use the jQuery parts, right? So jQuery CDN, let's include that. We already have jQuery there, but let's just download it again for the sake of downloading. And then let's just look at this uncompressed. So let's just copy this code and then paste it here, because I want to save it on my device. Okay, wait, not CDN, let's just say jQuery. So download and save, right? So this is the minified version, I believe. Alright, so we come here, and then let's bootstrap, and then we don't have, I'm going to create a JS inside this bootstrap folder. I'm going to create a JS, so I'll just name it JS, right? And then I'll just save it here. So that has gone in there, and I'm going to include jQuery. So I'll say jQuery, right? And I'll say script, and I'll say source equal to js/jQuery, right? So with this, we are good to go. Let me open this in a new tab. Open this copy path. We go open this in the browser. Alright, I don't need this. Let me just paste this. So you can see, right, this is what we actually have, right? And you can see all of these here. Okay, so what's the next step, right? We've included the files. Let's now look at how Bootstrap works. So let's look at the very basic thing first. Let's look at this contents, no, not contents. Layout. Let's look at layouts. Okay, so let's first look at layouts, right? So so if you want to use the grid system, you have to consider containers, right? So that's what you can see here, right? So for the default grid system, so how does Bootstrap works? The way Bootstrap works is everything is in rows and columns, right? So let's open a website. Let's say Visual Studio. Let's just open the Visual Studio website and see something. So with Bootstrap, everything are rows and columns. So I'm not saying that this I was developed using Bootstrap, but let's just give an example. This is a navigation, right? So we can say that this is a row that contains this text, right? This is another row that has 3 columns, right? One, two, three. This is just one row. It doesn't have. It just has one column. This is another row that has 2 columns, and this is another row that has just one column. This is another row that has just one column. So basically, that's how it works, right? So when we use, it shows like description of what the container is and how it works. But we're going to be using this container fluid, right? And we're going to put all our. You can read the description for large devices. Imagine having to write the media query for each of these specific devices. But with this now, once you give it that class, it automatically does that, right? So let's do something now. Let's create a div and give it that, right? So if we come inside here, I'm going to do something. I'm going to say div. I'm going to say class equal to container, right? And container fluid, right? So I'll just copy all of this. I no longer want that, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So let's copy all of this down to the footer and put that in here. Now let's look at how that looks, right? So nothing too spectacular, right? But you can notice that it's if I remove this, let's see. If I remove this, right, you can see that it's to the end. But by the time I put container fluid, notice the difference. You can see that the styling is already taking effect, right? The styling is taking effect. If I actually do something, let's remove this CSS Bootstrap, right? Let's remove that and I save. You can see the styling. Look at how the default styling looks. But by the time I actually put that Bootstrap, right? So it already has some basic styling that they've done by themselves to make the text look slightly better. You can see that, right? Okay, so what is the next thing? How does the grid system work, right? So I'm going, like I said, I'm trying to make this video as basic as possible and as easy to understand as possible. So now I've explained containers. Let's look at grid. Is it grid? Let's see what grid has to offer. Okay, so this is how the grid system works. You can see column, 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 right? So you can have things, things are basically in rows and columns. Like I explained, you have row, you have columns, right? So basically that's how it works. And you can see that it has all those dimensions. So you can see this is for SMs, extras for small devices, these extra small devices on and it has all those writings here, right? So when you don't specify SM, this you just put call, right? In this case, you can see that it just automatically gives it equal weight. It doesn't really say, okay, if it's a smaller device or a medium device or a larger device, I want it to look this way, right? So that's how all those things are. You can see that they're all in columns and they're all in widths, right? Basically, that's how they all are. So that's how this is explained here. But like I said, I will keep this. I like to keep things as simple as possible, and I'll try and make it at that, right? So let's do something. Let's have a row, right? Let's have a row. So let's say row. Let's have a row for the, we'll have a div and we'll say class row, and then we end our div, right? So we put a column, right? So say div class equal to call, and I'm saying for medium devices 12, right? So let's just be 12. But if I don't say medium devices, if I just put this, it means for all devices. But let me just put it regardless. Bootstrap is going to take care of all of that. Then when I put this, so I want this navigation to be the only thing on that row. So let me duplicate this. And I'll get rid of this, right? So this section with the image, right? This section with the image. Let's look at something. Okay, I'm going to do something. I only want this image there. I don't want all those other things there, and I want it to be 12. But let's first look at what Bootstrap has to offer for images, right? So you can see if I click on images here, responsive image, right? So by the time I give an image this, right, I put the source of the image and I give it a class of that. I say class equal to image fluid, right? Now let's look at what we've done so far on the website. We'll come to this website, so you can actually see, right? So this is what it actually looks like, okay, on the website. All right, so but I'll come to the navigation. So let's deal with that way first. I'll come to the navigation, and then let's look at this. So we've done that, we've taken care of that. So let's actually go to the navigation and see what we can do about that. So if we come to this, let's come to navigation. We have nav bars. All right, so yeah, we have nav bar. So let's click on nav bar. Let it open up. So we'll see what we have here. Okay, so you can see that it has navbar that we can use to actually design our navigation. We can design the navigation like from scratch, but Bootstrap saves us all that headache, right? But there's something I particularly want. See all the type of navbars, and that's why I got rid of the header, because we're going to have this from the navbar, right? But there's something I want. I'm looking for a responsive navbar, a navbar that is going to shrink on a mobile device, and then it's going to, you know, be open. Like smaller devices is going to shrink, and on larger devices is going to actually, you know, open fully. So let us look at responsive behaviors, right? So this is the one I particularly want. All right, so when we have this, so if I copy this, all this code, if I copy them, and for the navigation here, I come here, so I put that for the navigation, right? This navbar now, I would say, let's see my website. All right, and then this home, we go to index.html, right? And then this will go to our what's it there, about .html, and we say about, and then this, I don't want this to be disabled, right? If you say disabled, that means you won't be able to click on it to have that color. So I just want it to look like the others because it's not disabled. And then we'll say ref, right? Take it to the contact page, right? So let's look at this contact, right? And I don't need this form here, right? Because I'm not trying to submit any form really. Okay, this form is not needed, so it can go out. Now let's look at what we have, right? And then when we look at that, let's take this all out. So if we look at this, you can see that, right? So basically this is, you can still go to the home about. So if I right click and I say inspect, you can see how it's responsive, right? It has adjusted to a mobile device, a smaller devices. So if I begin to take it out, it begins to go out, right? So Bootstrap has automatically taken care of that. So imagine trying to do this from scratch by yourself, right? Okay, so let's just come up with some random write-up here, right? Let's come up with some random write-up, and let's say this footer, right? This footer, let's say, let's do this, and let's get all of these, and then I'll paste it in here, right? And then I could still use the footer if I want, but let me put that. And when I put text center, what that does is going to center that right up at the bottom here, right? You can see that it automatically does that, right? So that's how we can use Bootstrap to do something like that. But I want to still do some extra things. I want it to have some more write-ups. So this image here, this assume is one row, and let us have some write-up, and let's just say H3 OER, and let's just say paragraph or some write-up. So let me just get some random write-up online. Some random write-up. Let's see. Let me see if I can get some random write-up, right? So, and then let's see, generate some random write-up. Some random write-up. Okay. For who we are, for company websites. Just want to get that. So I'll just put it there, and then it will just look like, you know, we have some write-up there. Let's just quickly do that. So while it's doing that, we can actually do something. Let's copy all of these, right? Let's copy all of these and go paste it for the other pages, on the other pages, right? So we'll copy down to this part, the contacts, and then we'll do that for contacts, right? But in this case now, we're going to change here to active. Now we're going to put a contact form active, right? And then we remove this active here, and then this contact is not going to have this this will go out. So we're just going to have, and I just have contact us, right? Just have contact us, and then right, so we would have here div, I would say class equal to call md6. So we want it to have, you know, 6. So here I want here to be a form, unless you make here it will be a form, and here will be an address, and then here will be 4, right? So here will be for a form someone can fill, and here will be for the address of the company. So let's just say div, right? And let's say some details of the company. Let's say a ref, and then we say email. Just put some hey ref, and then hello at let me just put some xyxz at non-email dot xyz. Just put that there. All right, and then we just say, let's copy this, right? And then we put here. So this email that we say here, we say phone. So let's just forget phone. Let's just put so this aref, right, for an email, what it basically means is when you click on the link, it's going to try and open up in, you know, sending an email to somebody, right? And then phone. Okay, let's put something. Say +1. Then we'll say 1. I don't know if it's real, please. So let's just put that there, and then we put this, right? And then let's save this, right? So when we save this, let's go to the, all right, that's giving us this, right? So let's just copy all of this and just paste it there, right? If we go to the index and just paste it there, right? Paste it there. We are, so let's just look at what we have there. So if I refresh this, you can see that, right? So I want this to be at the center, and when I say class equals to text center, it will position that in the middle, right? You can see that it's there, right? So let's look at something again. All right, so, and then let's come to the contacts page. Yep, I haven't put the Bootstrap CSS. So if I come to this index and I copy this, right, and I put it here, right? So you can see all of that, right? So you can see this this is going to be the email, this is going to be a form someone can actually fill, and this is the footer. But let's finish up the work first. So let's copy, we'll look at the footer, right? So let's look at this contacts page, and I want this right up to be in the middle, so I could just put the text center here, text center, and when I into that, you can see that. So let's go to Bootstrap forms. So we click on forms, form. All right, so let's click on forms. So let's load it up so that we can actually see what we have on forms, and we see forms. All right, so this is very perfect for the contact page. So we can just copy this actually, and then we just paste it there, right? So that we do, right? And then we can have a button, right? If you look at Bootstrap buttons, look at Bootstrap buttons, we could literally have like several type of buttons that we can use. So I'll just copy this primary button, right? I'll copy this, and then I'll paste it here, right? And then I'll say submit. So let's look at the contacts page and see what we have there, right? So you can actually see that looking at that place there. So we can decide to put this button in the middle. So let's just do that, right? And then we put this here, right? And then we say let's say text center, right? And then when we do that, you can see that that is actually in the middle, right? So that is for that, right? So let's even do something a little bit extra. Let's make here 6, and then here has to be 4. So the rows, every row is supposed to be equal to a total of 12, right? So this is 6 plus 3 is 9. 6 plus 4 is 10. So we still have 1 1. So we can decide to do something. I could decide to put empty divs. I could say div class equal to call md and then put 1, because we still have 2. Everything has to total to 12, and then we can put this here. So what happens? Look, we're gonna have that space, right? That's what I actually wanted here, right? And then we have this. So let's just quickly design the footer, right? So we could have the CSS, and then that's where the CSS comes in handy. So with the CSS, we're gonna make amends to the CSS color black, and we say padding, right? Padding top 10 pixel, padding bottom, padding top, padding bottom 10 pixels, and then we come to this contacts, right? And then let's put in my style. I'll say my style CSS, right? And then we say link, and then we say link ref, right? Just copy all of this. Then paste it. I said then I'll put CSS, and then my style is CSS. So by the time we do that, let's see what happens. Okay, yeah, it's putting this color. All right, so let's remove all of this because we don't need that. And then I forgot the footer tag, right? So let's just say class footer, right? So I want to get every class of footer, right? So if we put it here, you can have multiple classes. So you can see that, right? Basically that goes right there. So if we copy this and we actually put it on the index page, right? So where is the index page? This is the index page. And then we come here and contacts, right? And then we come here and then we paste it. we'll go to home. Yeah, we didn't give it that class, so we give this class here, we say full time. So you can see that it's actually there, right? So let's do something. I want to get this about, I no longer want this about page, I want to get rid of it. And then I want this index, right? When you click on this, right, it's going to take you to this about section instead of the about page. So how can I do that? Once I put ref id like this and I say about, what the website is going to do is whenever you click on this about thing, it's going to look for any element that has an id of about. So in this case, if I say id equal to about, what is going to happen? And then when I refresh it, right, if I click on about, it takes me there. So basically we don't need that anymore. And then we have this contact us page, right? And then now that we have the contact us page, let's see. Okay, I want to do something. Let me do something extra. So let's say this contacts page, I want this. Okay, this is let's see, I want this to be on a new row, right? I cut this out and I say div class equal to row, and I say div class equal to call md12 your devices, and I put this here, right? I put that here, and then for this, let's say I want it to be 10, right? And then we'll have one here, and then we'll have one here. So let's see what that looks like. All right, but I still want this to be in the middle. So I want to have say name. So here will be name, and here you could see for name, and here will be text, right? So you could see that there was type email there, and we could say placeholder John Doe, and then we could see here id name, right? So then here we could say email, and then email, and then email. So when we do that, all right, so we have that name John Doe, and here we could say message, right? And then rows 5, and then here. So these rows basically, right, for text area, this is the type, right? So text area gives you that. Yeah, so rows means the number of rows you have. As I've changed it to 5, if I save it and I actually refresh, you can see that we now have 5. If I increase it to 7, you can see that we have 7 rows over there, right? So basically that's that. And then message, let's see, email this, right? So we have this, and then what else? These contacts, right? This about page is going to link to the about. It's going to link to index.html / about, meaning that page. I want you to go to the about section, right? And then with this, we want this in the center, so we'll say text center. And let's see how that goes. Okay, so yeah, so this is what Bootstrap's all about. If I click about, alright, so about that. Index.html. Wasn't supposed to be like that. So if I refresh the page and I click on about, see, it takes us to this place right on the home page. So basically that's that for Bootstrap. So if we want to convert the jQuery calculator, right, how do we do that? First things first, let's go to this Bootstrap website and let's copy Bootstrap, right? And then we come to jQuery calculator and then we can paste it here, right? So now that I've done that, let's actually go to the let's open the Bootstrap, open folder, jQuery calculator. You know what? I'm gonna rename that stuff, right? I'm going to just copy it, paste it, and then I'm going to call this rename. I'll say Bootstrap jQuery calculator, right? And then I'm going to get rid of this here, right? So we're going to open that instead. So let's open that, open folder, and we say Bootstrap jQuery calculator, right? So what do we need to do first? So this index.html, first we need to import the CSS, right? So let's do that. Let's say link. No, I'm just gonna copy some of that code, right, to save time. And then not simple website, Bootstrap website, and then we have index.html. And then I'm going to copy this code here. This is the Bootstrap, right? So I'm copying it and pasting it because they're all in the same folder. Inside the Bootstrap folder, CSS and this, right? Then I'm going to copy. There's already jQuery, right? So I'm just going to copy this down, right? And then when I'm copying it, I'm going to paste it here, right? So if we go to the we call this and then we're going to rename this to Bootstrap jQuery calculator, and then let's say here Bootstrap jQuery calculator. And by the time we are done with that, we want to open it in the web browser now. Let's actually copy this, and we say copy path, and then we come here. I don't think I'm needing this anymore. Alright, so you can see, right, this is what we have right now. So first things first, I want to do something. These buttons, I want them to have a style, so I'll say class, right? I'll say btn primary, and that would do what? That will make this look like this, right? And then I'll come here and I'll say class equal to btn, and they're all in the Bootstrap button space, btn, secondary, and then you see that, and I will come here and I'll say class equal to btn warning, just put that, right? So if I come here and I'll say class equal to btn danger, just alright. So with this, let's use let's do the magic, shall we? So first things first, I'm going to wrap it all in a div class equal to container fluid, right? And then I'm going to put, okay, let me finish, and I'm going to create a row, div class row. I'm going to create div class. Now I want it to be in the middle, 6-way, right? So I could use this md3, and I replace this, and I replace this, and I put a 6 here. So I just want it to be at that point, right? So when I copy all of this, I cut it out, and I come up here, and I paste it, right? So what do we actually have? Right, so we have this, right, and I would say I want this. I won't be needing this, so I would say I want this here, right? And let's say text center, right? So you can see all of that as position, right? Alright, so what's the next thing? Now I want to do something. I want to give these things, I want to give this a styling, and I'll say class. This is Bootstrap, all Bootstrap, form, I think it's form control, and you can see that, right? So let's copy this 1 2 3, no, 1 2, and let's see what that looks like, right? So we have this, and then let's look at something again. We can decide to remove this, then we can decide to put this here, class text center. Alright, so those were aligned here, but these buttons, right? Let's do something. Let's put these buttons inside a div. I will say class equal to text center, and then we put this like this. So yes, see, it works. So when we put 1 and we put 2, you can see the results. This, and this. So basically that's Bootstrap and how that works. And that's actually the end of this particular video. And then thank you for your time. Do enjoy the rest of your day.